think it's just the way that my brain works. It's all a big mess. I'm not very structured. I don't think I have a very clean brain. And that's been the way my whole work has developed. What about you? Do you want to come out and film you?
That's if you desperately want my face in your film, I'm gonna stick my face out. You know, you got to set it up, everything right, lights are right, you know, okay, action, you know, then it comes out nice.
I really like being behind the camera, and I get withdrawal symptoms if I don't film. One of the nice things I like about using film over digital is that it has these time constraints. If you're running out, that sort of tension becomes even more fraught with, I don't know, a kind of anxiety that I like, I suppose, a heightened blood pressure, where actually I'm almost out of film. Is this the thing that I should be filming, or should I be waiting for something else that's going to happen? And that is really an exciting moment for me. As an artist, you can bring something maybe a little unexpected to the cinema space, and vice versa. I don't make different films for the different spaces. They're the same film, but they change because of the context, and I'm kind of interested in that, in what a viewer brings to a certain kind of space. The nice thing about the gallery space is that you can use architecture and sound and other kind of techniques to allow the audience to experience it in a slightly different way to the way that you would in the cinema. Yeah, I like abruptness. I like abrupt cuts. Okay, can you read it again?
I don't like the sun of mine. Sunlight arrives only at its proper an hour.
I know what I want, but I'm also, in some ways, courting accident. You know, I've maybe got better at kind of knowing how to create some accidents or create a situation within which these serendipitous things can happen.
I am writing to you from a far-off country. We have here, she said, only one sun in a month, and for only a little while.
Storyboards are really just a very rough guide. I don't imagine I'll ever sort of film it like this, but it's just a useful way to think about how something might be sort of pieced together. But then once I've got the camera in my hand, then it tends to really change.
Are you an optimist?
Yes.
Do you worry too long after an embarrassing experience?
Yes.
Do you dream?
Yes. The most vivid dreams I have are normally zombie dreams. I really... They're very vivid. Where to begin? I mean, we could go so far back. Well, I grew up in the countryside. There was a growing interest in film from quite young, but mostly horror movies. There was a great video shop in my village, in the basement of the church, and the guy would loan us the latest video nasties, which were all banned, you know, and he had pirate copies of them. And I think that somehow did plant a seed.
How did the materials get to be in the first place? It was obvious it started off from space, it was full of gas, which then polarised into spheres, and in our solar one big spear that went pop.
When I've made films with people, I prefer to not say about people because I feel like saying about is explaining them. And I think explaining somebody is impossible. So I prefer to say I make films with people. And it's a moment in time between me and that person.
Does that kind of answer your question, Ben? Do you want me to do something else on one of those aspects?
I thought that was good.
That's all right.
Yeah, it was good.
Right.
In a way, I'm looking for these clues.
Exactly. That, and it's a tastefully laid out in my case, It's a bullshit language, and tastefully. What the fuck do you mean tastefully? It means piece of shit rubbish. Yes. Oh well, yeah.
The environment that they choose to live in, the landscape. The objects they surround themselves with, or the things they've collected. That's why I like to be in this area between kind of fiction and documentary and whatever you want to call it, label it. Because that allows you to kind of take from what the world offers you that you didn't expect.
Humans, pigs, dogs, water rats, resurgent woods, and highly evolved modularly self-replicating plastics are prevalent.
I do like masks a lot, yeah. I've used them, they recur in like a number of my films, and I like what happens when people put masks on, that they transform into another being. They move beyond their everyday existence and can become almost anything. So I've given masks to children. The same thing happens in The Sky Trembles when somebody's put in this full body mask. Okay. There's this transformation happens. He loses his ego and becomes a completely different creature. The daydream is a great moment of being in the world but being somehow outside of the world at the same time. And that's something I'm interested in trying to achieve with films, is that you're in an area which the kind of boundaries of reality become a little uncertain. These ones are from a film that I'm working on, which is called After London, and it's this kind of post-apocalypse where people are living very differently, and there's lots of sort of costumes, and there's one community which is just kids.
Liberty is the absence of ideas. That's what I like best. I've fallen back on the things I used to like, which are not ideas, and I cultivate them. They're feelings, or rather impressions. The impressions of well-being, the impression of understanding. That's the real life, at least something close to it. You go along with it.
Whatever kind of utopian goal there might seem to be in some of my films, that there's a flip side to it. I've always liked the idea that the films are kind of merging the past and the present and the future, and they all become one another in this kind of strange infinity loop.
People on 11 believe that the clarity of their night sky, coupled with the climate that allows them to go about comfortably yet discreetly naked, has done away with the problems of the old earth altogether.
I like the gaps between things, so mysteries. So I think it's okay if you kind of skip a few words or even mishear them.